The story begins by informing us that religion is the foundation of life in this world and the hereafter. In the darkness, a girl's terrifying scream shatters the surrounding silence. An elderly shaman was making desperate attempts to exorcise a demon from the body of a girl named Haruni. He tried to expel the demon's soul by sprinkling holy water. After that terrifying battle between the two worlds, Haruni becomes weak and listless, her eyes tightly shut. As the shaman slowly approaches to check on her, the demon inside Haruni suddenly declares that it will not leave this body under any circumstances. Rather, it claims that Haruni is now its property. With a sinister laugh, it says it is quite comfortable in Haruni's body and wants to take her soul with it, warning that a demon's place is not on earth but in hell. Meanwhile, outside the room, Haruni's mother and younger sister Hanum are trembling in terror. To show the demon its own terrifying face, the shaman holds a mirror in front of it. But instead of fleeing, the demon becomes even more enraged. Hanum clings tightly to her mother in fear. The scene then shifts to the Artois hospital. One morning, a mother brings daughter Hanum to the hospital for an eye checkup. Hanum's eyesight has been getting blurry day by day. After tests, the young eye doctor Ahmad says her chances of recovery are only 30 to 40%. Although Hanum's vision is blurry, she can still roughly recognize objects in front of her. Dr. Ahmad advises that an immediate operation might restore her sight. However, the Nada helplessly explains that they cannot afford the cost of the surgery. The doctor also cannot do much as the treatment is too expensive. Hanum returns home filled with disappointment and helplessness. Seeing her despondent by the window, Haruni vows to earn a lot of money to pay for her sister's treatment. Hanum only weeps as her older sister's face is also becoming increasingly blurry in her own eyes.
As evening falls, Haruni's behavior changes horrifyingly. Her mother had already tied her hands and feet, fearing another incident. Indeed, Haruni falls under the demon's control again. Dr. Ahmed is a pious and knowledgeable young man who has faced several supernatural or spiritual phenomena before. Haruni's mother seeks his help. When Haruni is shaking violently from seizures, Dr. Ahmed arrives and begins reciting verses from the Holy Quran, commanding the demon inside Haruni to leave. But the demon retorts that it wasn't due to Allah's decree of death, but rather burned in the fire of revenge. As it speaks, Haruni's eyes turn white and then she faints and falls to the ground. Dr. Ahmed understands that Haruni is not suffering from a mental illness, but is possessed by some demonic jinn. He says that no amount of sleep or sedative medication will work because the root cause is demonic power. Haruni's mother then explains that nearly every night Haruni screams terrifyingly and behaves abnormally. Dr. Ahmed admits he cannot fully decipher the strange sounds coming from Haruni's mouth. Her mother says she has heard it many times. Haruni speaks in an ancient Java language that is very difficult to understand. Dr. Ahmed suspects the cause is a specific type of black magic used on Haruni's body. He has seen such cases before. Based on her symptoms and behavior, he believes an evil force is behind the supernatural attacks. Haruni becomes terrified by the demon's constant attacks. The mother is stunned, as she never imagined her eldest daughter could be involved in such forbidden acts.
The next night, Dr. Ahmad arrives at Haruni's house with some people, and they all start reciting the Quran together. While everyone is reading the Quran, Haruni begins to writhe in agony. In an instant, the skin on her face tears, and even blood and pus come out, soiling her clothes. When Ayatul Kursi is recited, the demon inside Haruni starts suffering even more. Suddenly, a crashing sound is heard, and Haruni's screams slowly fade away. Everyone understands that Haruni has freed herself and fled through the window. Dr. Ahmad and the locals quickly chase after her so she doesn't escape too far. Meanwhile, at the house, Hanum is alone. She starts experiencing one supernatural event after another. Various footsteps are heard all around, yet no one is visible. In the dark night, her weak eyesight becomes even more obscured. She slowly climbs the stairs and, frightened, asks, "What is there?" On the other hand, Dr. Ahmad and the villagers go into the forest and see Haruni jumping into the river. Although they manage to catch her with great effort, she resists fiercely. Everyone who touches her is astonished. Her body is as hot as boiling water. Dr. Ahmad explains that the demon inside Haruni is experiencing unbearable pain from the Quranic recitation, so it jumped into the river to cool the body. He recites Ayat al-Kursi to try and weaken that force. Then they bring Haruni back home. Once home, she is tied up tightly and placed on the bed. Dr. Ahmad informs them that the evil force, which was introduced into Haruni's body through black magic, has gradually made its home in her body and grown stronger. Haruni's mother is bewildered. She cannot understand why her daughter did such a thing. She says she never encouraged her children in such superstitions or acts of shirk. Dr. Ahmad urges the mother to find out what happened in Haruni's life before she fell under the demon's control, as that information might help solve the mystery. The next morning, the mother calls Sukma, who works as a folk singer.
She asks Sukma to come home and help Haruni, as her condition is worsening day by day. Sukma then recalls a past event. Haruni once worked in the same profession as her. Haruni had said she wanted to use black magic to earn more money, like Amal. Haruni complained that her daily income was very low, making it hard to cover living expenses. She believed Amal had many clients. She used some type of black magic to grow her business. Sukma looks at Amal and remarks that she herself is naturally beautiful and attractive, so people are drawn to her. One afternoon, after finishing work, Dr. Ahmad is preparing to go home from the hospital. The hospital is nearly empty. Suddenly, he hears a patient's bed moving on its own. He approaches and sees the bed is empty. Although he finds it strange, he fixes it and tries to leave. Just then, the mirror in front of his office wash basin shatters for no reason. As he bends down to pick up the glass shards, he sees a terrifying creature in the reflection behind him. It is the accursed demon, enraged by Dr. Ahmad's interference. In an instant, struck by a terrifying force, Dr. Ahmad faints and collapses on the floor. That same night, Haruni is tied tightly to the wall. She cries in terror. Suddenly, deep scratch marks like those from nails begin appearing on the wooden floor of her room, as if some invisible creature is roaming around. Shortly after, Hanum wakes up to her sister's screams. The mother rushes in to try to calm Haruni, but Haruni suddenly bites her hand, tearing the skin. Seeing her daughter's violent behavior, the mother quickly calls Dr. Ahmad. At the same time, Hanum enters her sister's room to try to soothe her. Hearing the phone ring, Dr. Ahmad regains consciousness. He realizes he is still lying on the floor of his hospital office. Meanwhile, strange sounds come from Haruni's mouth.
The mother quickly pulls Hanum away from her. Haruni's rampage continues from late night until dawn. The next morning, even after his work hours have passed, Dr. Ahmed comes to help them. He treats them. Haruni's mother patiently cleans her daughter's wounds, blood, and filth. Dr. Ahmed says if Haruni remains under the demon's control for a long time, she will gradually lose her memory as the demonic jinn dwelling inside her drains human energy and vitality. Seeing the scratch marks covering Haruni's walls and floor, Dr. Ahmed sighs. Hanum then reveals that Haruni decided to use black magic to gather the funds for her eye surgery. Hanum breaks down in guilt as she says this. She asks if there's any hope for Haruni to recover. Dr. Ahmed consoles her, saying nothing is impossible if Allah wills. That night, Haruni is again possessed by that demonic jinn. Just then, a mysterious car stops in front of their house. Sukma, who had promised to help, steps out, accompanied by her pet dog, Spartan. Sukma embraces Haruni's mother. She is then introduced to Dr. Ahmed. As everyone tells him about the terrifying jinn, Ahmed makes it clear that he is not a shaman or a magician. He simply knows more about some of the hidden aspects of the creator's creation. Seeing Haruni's pitiful condition, Sukma decides to tell the whole story. She reveals that one night she wasn't home and later heard the details from Haruni. That night, in the dead of night, heavy rain and thunder woke Haruni. Suddenly, the lights went out, plunging everything into terrifying darkness, and the doors swung open from the wind pressure. Haruni quickly closed the doors and returned to her room. But then she saw a terrifying, female-shaped demon approaching her. Slowly, the entity came and stood before her. The next day, when Sukma returned home, she found Haruni inside, pale and terrified.
From the next morning, Haruni stopped speaking altogether and repeatedly vomited blood. Sukma suspected this was caused by the black magic Haruni used to compete with Emil. One day, after Haruni vomited blood again, she felt someone was hiding behind her. But when she went to check, she found no one. Terrified, she went out to find friends, but then she began to feel that even Sukma was following her in some demonic form. As a result, she became isolated and mentally broken down from fear. Sukma says she took Haruni to the hospital. She even took her to the shaman who had cast the black magic on her, but no treatment worked. Haruni often complained that something was moving inside her body. Strange boils and wounds from unknown sources began appearing all over her body. She would often scream in unbearable pain. In this condition, Sukma took her to several other shamans. But later, it was discovered that Emil was also a victim of the same problem. Both Haruni and Emil had taken black magic amulets from the same shaman. That old shaman only thought about making money and didn't care about the consequences. When the situation worsened, he fled. Then Sukma searched in Medina for someone who could remove this terrifying black magic. But that person was even greedier and demanded a huge sum of money for the treatment. Meanwhile, Emil's condition deteriorated rapidly. Later, news and photos of her death spread on the internet. She died in a horrifying state. Her body rotted and emitted a foul smell. Sukma admits to Haruni's mother that to perform the black magic, Haruni had to undergo a special ritual, bathing in foul-smelling water. Dr. Ahmed then explained the Japanese mantras recited during that ritual. Sukma confirms that Haruni used to recite those mantras regularly during her baths. Then Ahmed reveals a terrifying truth.
Haruni had actually used a type of black magic called Benumayet. According to this ritual, she had to bathe in the bathwater of a person who had committed suicide. Dr. Ahmed adds that to save Haruni, they must uncover the secret of that dead person's soul, as that person's current jinn might be attached to her. After finishing the story, Sukma sets off for home in her car. But midway through the forest, the car suddenly breaks down. Her dog, Spartan, starts behaving abnormally. Getting out to check the car, Sukma sees numerous black hairs tangled over the engine. As she pulls the hair away, an eerie wailing sound comes from afar. Hearing it, Spartan starts barking loudly, as if signaling an invisible presence. Looking in the car's mirror, Sukma freezes in fear. She sees a terrifying spirit that looks just like Haruni. She quickly tries to start the car, but in an instant, the entity's face becomes even more distorted and terrifying. It grins with sharp teeth. Terrified, Sukma speeds away, but she doesn't even know where she is going. Meanwhile, Hanum comes to her sister, Haruni, who is still tied in the middle of the wall. Hanum brings the ball that Haruni had given her on her 10th birthday. Crying, Hanum says that Haruni fell into this terrifying state, trying to gather money for her eye treatment. She blames herself. Finally, she asks Haruni for forgiveness and says if it is her fate to lose her sight, she will accept it. Haruni finally accepts that perhaps she will go blind.
She feels that if she becomes blind, she won't have to see the terrifying sights of this cruel world.
To calm the situation, she reminds Haruni of a childhood game. Looking at the ball in her hand, she says she'll count to 3, and whoever catches the ball first wins. As she counts, Hanum approaches Haruni. Since she can't see clearly now, she doesn't notice her sister's distorted and terrifying face. She embraces Haruni with selfless love. Hanum says that as her eyesight diminishes, her fear also seems to fade away. She is no longer afraid of her sister. But her mother quickly comes and pulls Hanum away, as the demonic jinn inside Haruni could harm her at any moment. She warns Hanum not to do such reckless things again. Meanwhile, Dr. Ahmed meets his old friend Faisal. He recalls a past incident from their school days when a girl named Last was harmed by her boyfriend through black magic. Ahmed asks Faisal to find information about recent suicide cases in the surrounding areas. Faisal is a police officer, but the task is not easy. Ahmed, however, does not lose hope. He continues to search for every possible clue to cure Haruni. That night, he begins reading an ancient manuscript kept in an old wooden box, which contained various information about demons and evil spirits. He notes down important details. Meanwhile, Hanum sees a terrifying girl's spirit in her dream, the one that has been tormenting Haruni for a long time. She wakes up in terror and sweating. When she gets thirsty and goes to the kitchen to get water, she suddenly hears someone calling her name. The voice is Haruni's. Hanum is surprised because Haruni is supposed to be tied up downstairs. Just then, her mother hears her scream and comes running to soothe her. Meanwhile, while reading the ancient book, Dr. Ahmed finds a few important words: demon, soul, and blood. Suddenly, he hears eerie laughter outside his window, as if a terrifying spirit is standing there laughing. Ahmed follows the source of the sound and goes outside. Following it, he reaches the entrance of a cave. Carelessly, he steps in fresh blood.
Lighting up his mobile phone, he ventures deeper into the cave. Inside, the mysterious spirit keeps calling him and moving around. As the situation becomes increasingly terrifying, Ahmed flees in fear. In his haste, his mobile phone falls inside the cave. The next morning, he arrives at Haruni's house on his motorcycle. He sees a few laborers working. Hanum informs him that their mother is planning to build a chicken farm. Just then, Faisal calls with important information. 3 women had committed suicide in that area in the past few months. Hearing the news, Ahmed quickly goes to the police station. There, he examines the photos of the recovered bodies one by one. He suspects the bathwater used in the black magic ritual was taken from the corpse of one of these 3 women. Ahmed explains that restless souls who cannot leave the earth often try to influence living people, and the devil takes advantage of that opportunity to destroy people's faith and lives. According to him, when Haruni used that dead person's bathwater, she unintentionally awakened the soul of one of the suicide victims through the ritual. Through the blood, that soul entered Haruni's body and gradually began to take control of her. After hearing Ahmed's explanation, Faisal decides to visit the families of the deceased women. On the way, Ahmed also mentions Hanum. He says the only way for Hanum to regain her sight might be a cornea transplant operation. Faisal is surprised that Ahmed cares so much for a patient's family. He jokingly suspects Ahmed might have developed special feelings for Hanum.
Meanwhile, Hanum was talking about her own suffering. She reveals that Dr. Ahmed offered to cover the huge cost of her eye operation, but due to self-respect, her mother didn't want to accept the help. Still, Ahmed continues trying to stay by their side and helps as needed. Afterwards, Ahmed and Faisal go to the family home of the first suicide victim. They learn that she suffered deep emotional trauma due to a broken marriage and ended her life in despair. She even broadcast the horrific event live on a streaming app. The investigation wasn't over yet. For more information, they go to another house where they meet a man named Ramlan, who was a witness to another suicide. Ramlan says a girl named Lily was once his girlfriend. She was extremely jealous. A year after their relationship ended, Lily committed suicide in deep depression. After that, Ramlan tried to start a new life and later married another girl. Ahmad finally confirms that Lily's soul is the evil force that has been tormenting Haruni. He urges Ramlan to come with him and help save Haruni's life. Meanwhile, Hanum's eyesight decreases further. Now she has to walk with the help of a stick. Still, she musters courage to go to Haruni and tells her that Dr. Ahmad will soon expel the demon from her body. Haruni challenges, "My sister, the demon inside you, do you hear? You will be destroyed in a few days." Before she finishes, the demonic force chokes her. She struggles to breathe. Just then, Ahmad, Faisal and Ramlan arrive. They see Haruni is nearly at death's door. Ahmad immediately calls out to the demon and realizes it is actually Lily's soul. He brings Ramlan forward, as Ramlan was Lily's ex-boyfriend who left her to marry someone else. At this moment, Ahmad says that the ritual of using a dead person's bathwater gave Lily's soul the opportunity to enter Haruni's body. He warns the evil force that if it doesn't leave Haruni's body, its suffering will increase.
Ramlan, crying, stands before Haruni. He apologizes to Lily's soul and admits that both of them suffered terribly after the breakup. Meanwhile, Ahmad begins reciting surahs to exorcise the demon. In severe pain, Haruni's body starts trembling. Faisal takes Ramlan away from the house. Ahmad commands the demon to go with Ramlan and leave Haruni's body. He loudly declares that a demonic soul's place is not on earth but in hell. Shortly after, Lily's soul begins to withdraw, but the actual demon still refuses to leave Haruni's body. Its resistance is so terrifying that blood starts coming from Haruni's mouth. It seemed like her body was tearing from the inside. Finally, Ahmad realizes that Lily's soul has left Haruni's body. He then quickly goes to Faisal and Ramlan. They are waiting near a yellow bamboo cage. The cage is a type of trap planned to draw the evil soul into it. Ramlan sits inside the cage. Then the three of them wait for Lily's soul to arrive. Suddenly, the cage begins to shake on its own. Ahmad tells Lily's soul that its time in the human world is over. It should now return to the realm of the grave. Chaos breaks out around them. Ramlan almost gets hurt. They search for Lily's soul in the darkness. Suddenly, Ahmad sees a terrifying soul crawling towards him. He staggers and falls against the cage. But he quickly stands up and begins remembrance with the tasbih in his hand, seeking Allah's help. After a while, Lily's soul appears before Ramlan. It seemed she wanted to take Ramlan with her. Ahmad starts reciting the verses of destruction again. After a long struggle, the evil force is defeated and destroyed.
Meanwhile, Haruni's mother and Hanum rush to sit beside Haruni. Haruni is completely exhausted and weak. The mother keeps calling her name. Gradually, the situation calms down. A few years after this incident, Hanum and Ahmad get married and are living together. However, due to glaucoma, even after the surgery, Hanum's eyesight did not fully return to normal. She still sees blurry. One day, their bedroom door suddenly opens on its own. Hanum goes inside to check. There, she sees someone with long hair sitting strangely in the corner of the room. At first, Hanum thinks it might be Haruni as she can't see perfectly. She thinks perhaps Haruni came wearing old white clothes as a joke. At this time, the girl slowly stands up and begins to approach her. She comes closer.